China, a country not much larger than the United States, but home to 5 times as many people, has been under communist rule since 1948. Mao Zedong, founder of Chinese communism, once said, "Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun." This year, for the Chinese, that proves to be true. In April, Hu Yaobang, the popular chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, who had called for reforms in the government, dies of natural causes. His death inspires students and intellectuals to demonstrate peacefully against the oppressive communist regime.
If you see the wrong word, you may be taken in the court.
It makes it very difficult for the Chinese leadership to persuade the intelligentsia of China that somehow the Chinese communists are different and they cannot let their people have it.
Demonstrations continue, and thousands of dissenters pour into Tiananmen Square, a plaza facing the People's Hall and the portrait of Mao Zedong. Then, in May, Mikhail Gorbachev makes an historic visit to China, the first meeting between these two communist countries in 30 years. The official greeting for the Soviet leader is held on the airport tarmac, not at Tiananmen Square, where the Chinese authorities are embarrassed by the presence of the demonstrators.
If the Chinese leadership are clever enough, they should discuss with Mr. Gorbachev and learn something from him.
We strike, and strike.
Go on.
Strike forever.
It is reported that Gorbachev, before returning to the Soviet Union, remarks that he has little sympathy for hotheads who advocate overnight change.
We try to take the first step in their long journey to change the Chinese very unjust political culture, political structure.
Could this be a journey of 1,000 miles?
Probably more than that.
1,000 students go on a hunger strike. Number of people in the square swells to over 1 million.
The government failed to give the people much more democracy, and it is not a government by people, of people, for people.
Zhao Ziyang is the only Chinese leader who takes to the streets to speak to the students. Weeks later, the Chinese Politburo strips him of his position, indicating to the world that there is a power struggle going on with the hardliners, and Zhao is the loser. In early June, art students erect the 33-foot-tall Goddess of Liberty. She becomes the symbol for a movement that will not be tolerated. In the dark of night, tanks roll into Tiananmen Square, crushing vehicles and students. The battle rages for hours.
One of my students came back and left a note on one of my colleagues' doors, and it said, "2 of my best friends have died. Please go back and tell the world."
How were they killed?
They were shot by troops.
I can't imagine what happened. Till now, I feel I have a dream. I have a dream. I can't understand why some life just vanished a few paces from me. I can't imagine.
Some estimate that as many as 7,000 students are killed by gunfire, but no number is ever confirmed. The crackdown sends a wave of terror through the country as student leaders go into hiding. As the remnants of the democracy movement are destroyed, the government begins a massive campaign to round up the dissidents. This man, being interviewed for American TV, finds his picture pirated by Chinese authorities, who call for him to be turned in. A tip brings his arrest. Over 10,000 persons are arrested. 31 are executed for their crimes against the state. Tiananmen Square and the rest of China are restored to the old ways. But the spirit of the democracy movement will be remembered by the picture of one man standing up for freedom, now and in the future.